lot of people are constantly asking me, now, where in the hell do you get all that energy? I mean, how's it possible, they say, for someone at 80 years old to be able to do uh, set after set of really difficult pull ups and uh, dips, push ups, all follow one after another, then go outside and play a hard game of basketball and then do 6 to 8 uh, sprints at 75 meters. I mean, how's that possible? I mean, how can you do it? You're not supposed to be able to do it, quote unquote. And that's the whole thing I want to get at right away. Is that, yeah, that's what the mythology is all about. What you can't do and what you should do and how you should depend upon pharmaceutical houses and doctors and be sure to keep all your appointments because oh my God, who knows what disease or disorder you're going to pick up or what genetic complications are going to come down on you. My philosophy is screw all that worrying and anxiety. That's one of the things that actually produces it. The best remedy for getting energy and overcoming all those problems is not really complicated. It's simply get out there, get off your duff, and go do it. If you don't go do it, who's going to do it for you? I mean, how are you going to stay young if you don't act young or be young? I think it's all very pragmatic, very simple. It's basic, common sense stuff that we overlook. The fact that if we sit around, we're not going to be able to get around. Amen? I mean, if you're sitting around all the time on your behind and not really doing much, how can you expect to do well when you get up and try to do something? Makes sense? Makes sense to me because that's what I've been doing all my life. I started out, who knows where I started out. I was always a very active person, but I think if I wanted an official time, I probably started out when I was 16 and started playing with those wheel drums on an axle with my brother down in the basement. Uh, this dirty, cold, smutted basement uh, when I was a little boy and living in that poor section of town where I grew up down by the river. Uh, we just decided, hey, it looks cool. I'm gonna see some guys out there like Jack LaLanne, Charles Atlas, and Chuck Seitz, and Steve Reeves, and other people out there working out. And look at their physiques. Not to mention all these great boxers, Rocky Graziano, Rocky Marciano, Muhammad Ali, uh, and if we want to go contemporary, within the last 20 years, of course, Mike Tyson's one of the greatest, toughest guys. And how did they get there? And what did they do to get there? They just got off their butts and went out there and went for it. They kept training. And that's what you got to do. You got to start training and stay active. I don't see myself as 80 at all. I see myself as 25. And the reason why I see myself as 25, that's my activity level. That's my fitness level. I'm not even mentioning my nutritional level. I mean, nutritional level is what kind of diet are you on? Are you eating a bunch of junk food or are you eating real quality foods? Lots of big complex salads, a lot of complex carbohydrates rather than simple. Are you eating good quality protein? Are you getting plenty of whole grains, fresh fruit and vegetables? All these things are essential. That's your nutritional level. And that's your nutritional age. If you're eating a bunch of crap and garbage, smoking cigarettes, puffing on a joint, sitting around with your buddies, getting high all day, what's your level of activity there? Level of awareness? It's pretty low because that's all you're doing. It's just laying back, cruising all the time. You're not really active. You're not involved. You're not trying to change your reality. You're not trying to get a hold of it. You're just uh, getting by. You're being passive. You got to be aggressively active. That's what they call proactive, meaning get on the ball and get moving. And so I see myself as 25 because that's the activity level I move at. I play basketball with guys in their 20s and 30s. I don't think about the age per se. I just like to play basketball. I like to shoot basketball. I go out at least 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 times a week and play basketball. And if somebody's out there, I'll play basketball with them one on one or in game. I prefer shooting by myself. But I like to focus in on what I can do and how well I can do it, not necessarily focusing on how competitive can I be with everybody else. I do tend to be competitive in sprinting because I like to compete against somebody else. But let's face it, who are we really competing with but ourselves? I compete with myself. I try to see, hey, can I break that 13.5 record I had where I won first place at Haywood Field in my mid 70s? I'll get out there. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. When I don't, I just get out and work harder at it. And you got to work into it and do it. You got to practice a lot of different kinds of things too, like vertical jumping. I do a lot of Cossack jumping. I do a lot of high knees jumping and jumping up on things. I also like to run in place at high speed. I do a lot of different things with my legs, like bounding. Uh, Broad jumping is really good. See how far you can jump in one jump. Uh, just to see what I can do and also get my body used to really reaching out and stretching out. I do capoeira, not just to compete with other guys in martial arts, but I do it for flexibility, agility training. Uh, the flexibility is essential. If you don't have flexibility, you're not going to have a lot of speed. You're not going to have a lot of energy either because you're going to be all tied up, bound up, and blocked up too. I'm talking about inside and outside both. You got to keep what's inside moving too, as well as what's outside. You got to keep your head moving. You got to keep mentally active. You got to keep thinking and researching. Um, I practice 4 different languages every day. Not every day, but I do one of those languages every day. It might be Spanish, it might be German, it might be French, Russian. Uh, I don't do it just to show off of what I can do or to talk necessarily with other people from other countries, although many times I do carry on what kind of conversations that I can actually converse in intelligently. But I do it because it's good for my brain. It's like a workout in my head, like taking courses. I take a lot of great courses. It might be in gravitation, it might be in space time, it might be in relativity, it might be in topology. Sometimes I even take math courses and stuff that I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'll do it because it's good for my brain to exercise it. It's good for my brain and it's good for my mind body connection, which is another thing. When we talk brain, we're talking mind, what goes on inside. I also do a lot in terms of trying to keep on top of my relationship to myself and the universe about me. Not just in my local area. I'm not just thinking local or global. I'm also thinking uh, as far as my relationship to the solar system and the galaxy itself. And I even go beyond that, calling it a holoverse, meaning a holographic whole that contains an infinite number of universes within. All this does for me, it keeps me open and flexible and keeps me in a constant state of flux and change. It keeps me on top of my toes. It keeps me moving and grooving, just like poetry does. I love poetry. So I study a lot of poetry too. It's good for the mind to not just be logical and practical, but also be intuitive and feeling oriented, like singing, dancing. I like things that keep me uh, flexible and give me what they call alacrity, or the ability to move and groove with a lot of different kinds of things. I like to feel sensual and alive. And I do all this to do one thing, and I've started this whole message out with that. I'm giving birth to more and more energy. Uh, there's big companies that have done a lot to try to get me to push their supplements and products and say, hey, you got all your energy and your muscle and your fitness and your longevity from us, right? I said, not true. I had it before I even encountered any of your products. And I'm not going to go out there and try to sell, be bogus or phony, just to make money or to get free supplements, which is what they try to bribe me with to do. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to try to profess something that I'm not. I'm going to tell you exactly where I'm at and what I'm doing, and that's all I'm going to be. I like to be here now. I like to be who I am, and I like to be free to be all that I can be. You might say, I'm going for the gold. Amen. All right, brother. Peace out.